Hello, welcome everybody. As you come in, can you please just put your name and where you're calling in from in the chat? My name is Kathleen Nora Bauer. I'm a multi-galactic course manager for the Academy of the Wild Soul, Global School for Quantum Evolution. I'm here with my dear sister, Ami Sohi, who is also a multi-galactic course manager. And we are just so deeply honored and excited to welcome in Kathy Forrest today. And Jocelyn is actually streaming in energetically with us from Egypt. So I know she will be sending us all the magic today. But welcome, Kathy. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you, Kathleen, and thank you, Ami. I am so excited to be here. This is a joy and a delight. So thank you for having me.
Oh, such a pleasure. And so just as everybody, just please put your energy into the chat so we can see where you're calling in from. And while you do that, I'm going to read Kathy's bio. So meet Kathy Forrest. Kathy Forrest is a master energy healer, psychotherapist, and transformational life coach. As a wild woman high priestess, she has been assisting women and the men who love them to deeply transform their lives through soul healing down to the cellular level for over 30 years. She is a founder and owner of Celestial Forest Institute of Energy Healing and Shamanic Studies, where she trains priestesses to lead soul-led lives and start soul-led businesses that truly fulfill them. And so today we're here, and the Global School for Quantum Evolution is so proud to present with you The Doorway to the Divine, Reconnecting to Your Soul, guided by Kathy. So welcome everybody. I see there's so much love in the chat. Hi from Stephen in Vermont. Steve. Hello from a woman named Steve from She Roared. Is that Illinois? Ronald from Montreal. Blessings from Southern Alberta with Teresa. Julie's in Maryland. Jan from Wales. Hello. Hello from Yorkshire, UK, from Maureen. Annabella, hi everyone from London, UK. Jenny, infinite love and blessings from Washington State. And there's just so much more love coming in, Kathy. So with
I see
that,
the one from Taria.
I'm going to pass it over to you so we can get the magic started.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. As I was getting ready, and I do want to just offer a little bit of background about where this came from and why. But Kathleen, you'll relate to this for sure. We planned this. We planned to do this. Ami, you too, months ago. And we had no idea we kind of knew, a little bit about transformation was coming, but we had no idea what the planet would be going through right now. And so as I think about what I'm here to share, with everyone, it's the perfect time. It's the perfect time for this because, and I'm going to share an event that happened to me about a year ago. But before I get into that, I really want us to understand the why I'm here. All of us are having the experience of being distracted, of having way too many things in front of us. And the only tool that most of us know how to use to navigate that is this. And this is distracted. This has been programmed over and over again. We're on screens day in, day out. We don't have the tools with this to manage the transformation that's coming. It's like when we look around and we see the chaos, we need wisdom. We need big wisdom. Where are we going to find that? Not here. But the good news is we brought it with us. And it's been with us and within us all the time. right inside our hearts, our soul, our first dimensional self. And when I say that, that may sound a little confusing because we've never been taught. We haven't really, truly, many of us, most of us, if I asked you today, where's your first and second dimension? You might not know. Probably won't. But your first dimension is your soul. And yes, there is a bigger part of your soul that is all around you. Excuse me, but it is connected right here inside your heart, physiologically there. The moment those two cells come together, there is an explosion of light. It's been photographed. And, science has all kinds of explanations for why that is and what it does. But we can literally watch that drop of light that you are, your own holy wisdom, land on this planet. And then your body just builds around that. Your body just forms around that and it stays right here. But we've never been taught to acknowledge it. We've never been taught to nurture it. We don't know how to connect with it. And so there was an event that happened about a year and a half ago, and I'm going to share all of that with you. And then I'm going to take you through a journey that's going to help you get there so that you can begin. Because what I've learned through this last year and a half is that this is the way through the chaos. We were never, ever meant to have to try to figure it out with our little brains. Our soul's wisdom that still lives right here. It's been on idle because most of us have never known to drop in there. Most of us have never known that if we would really, really, really let our soul drive the car, let our soul be in charge, we could access gifts that we have no idea exist, that exist in our field and have been lying dormant. But because we weren't taught and we didn't know, our soul's energy, our life force energy has been on idle. But when we turn the responsibility for what we're going to do next over to our own holy wisdom, all of the things we need, including life force energy, to creativity that you cannot even imagine. It's all at your fingertips. And so I'm going to share what happened to me with you. And then I'm going to take you through the beginning processes of that connection process. So as I said, I'll never forget this as long as I live. And, as Kathleen mentioned, I have been doing heavy duty spiritual practice for 30 years. And the reason I say that is not from an egoic place. It's just to say that I've been in the places. I, ran sweat lodges and fire walks for years. So, and that being said, the experience that happened to me last year never happened before. And I went in looking for it, asking for it on a regular basis, taking other people through it. But it was the end of October. I was in a session with Cheryl Prince and Emmer Stassen. And that's where I found them. And immediately signed up for a session with Cheryl, not really understanding why. And all of this is a lead up because what was going on back then, everyone was talking about it. More light is hitting the planet. We've hit the galactic rim. There's all kinds of light coming in. And literally, the chaos we see around us right now is a consequence of that. This is that transformative energy that most of us, if you're on this call, have been praying for and looking for, and the reason we showed up now for. We just probably weren't expecting the chaos that we're seeing, right? And I don't know that many of us felt like we had the tools to cope with it. I know that back then, when it first started happening, my concern, and I heard from a lot of my clients and a lot of my students, migraine, lots of physiological symptoms were happening because of all of that bigger light that was coming in. And I was taking that in, trying to figure out ways to help people. But it never occurred to me that it would be visited upon me, or that is really even what this was when it happened. Because of the work that I'm in, I dabble a lot. So I'd been playing around with sacred geometry, playing around with tree of life meditations, doing little meditations of light and stuff around my body. But there was no expectation of anything. And I'm sitting in front of my altar, piddling again. I've done the little meditation. I'm just, calmly chanting, listening to music. And all of a sudden, totally unbidden, there was a zip line. And yes, it was energetic, but there was a physiological sensation that came straight down through the top of my head, straight down through my legs and down through my base chakra. And the bottoms of my feet just lit up and were tingling. And like I said, I've had situations, but nothing like this before, ever. The closest I ever came was a priestess initiation where I felt that earth energy priestess come up through my body. But this was very pronounced, not invited that I knew of. I'd actually been doing a lot of things that invited it. To the point that in the moment when it happened, I just sat there frozen. There wasn't anybody to tell. I live alone. And I'm a little concerned. It's like, what did I just invite in? And I could feel almost like I could see through another being's eyes that now I understand was my bigger soul self. And it's as if she was moving around through my body and inspecting things through my energy field, my energy body. And she was just looking around and I could see what she was looking at. And just for those of you that may not be aware, if you do things every day, all of that's going to end up in your energy field. And it'll show up like structures, systems. I brush my teeth every day at 8:00. All of that is in there. And so she started looking at the systems that I'd set up for myself in my business, in my life. And I could feel what she was looking at. They felt really rigid, driven, hard to push up against. And it was as if she just walked through and went, okay. And I knew in that moment, everything in my life was going to change. I didn't know how. And change, I'm not a big changer. Change scares me, just like all the rest of us. So I went on about my day and went on about my life. But that was the turning point. And in that moment, and then subsequent days, I found myself dropping in and being able to feel my soul. And the only way I can describe that is an energetic orgasm of the heart all the time. It's just constant. Now, it's not constant. It's like I don't feel it all the time anymore. Now I can do it at will. But back then, it was all I had to do was put my hand on my heart and drop in, and it was there. And along with that came tons of energy and creativity and downloads of information. This is what people need. This is how to get there. This is why this is happening. And um, and I had this sense of urgency that I had to kick this out. So that began at the end of October. By January of the follow of 2024, there were 3 different classes, slideshows to go with them, a card deck, workbooks, all the things. And I don't have a assistant. It was just me. And I had the energy to do that. I had the life force to do that. And it felt fun. It was like the most joyful, exuberant. It was the only thing I can compare it to is when you were little and you knew there was going to be something under the Christmas tree when you got up and you couldn't wait to get down there and get it and play with it and all the things. It was like that all the time. I had to remind myself to eat. I would be up at 3 a.m. and would create until dark and fall in bed and get up and do it again. And it was the most fun I'd had. And so I came at this with the intent of everyone needs to do this. I want everyone to feel this. I mentioned earlier that I'd done a session with Cheryl, and my experience of that is what I would call a soul retrieval. She does psychic soul sessions, and it had moved a big chunk. That I'm a past life regression therapist. I've been on the hunt for years and years, but I'd never found this, and it was huge. And immediately after that, I had done her little free guided meditation that she has on her website, where she takes you through a journey through all the chakras, all the dimensions. And I hit 12. And when I got to 12, with the removal of that block, was when this thing in my heart started happening. And my first experience of it was, oh, this is what creator creatrix feels for the planet. This is the kind of love that just all encompassing love that is being showered upon us. And this is my flavor. This is what I'm here to bring. And as I've done this work now for a year, everyone has a flavor. Everyone has a different flavor. Cheryl Prince, she has been on, she's been a presenter here, and she is in the UK. If you stick with us, you'll hear about her a lot. At any rate, my point with all of this is that all of us have a flavor. All of us are necessary. If our frequency wasn't needed on the planet right now, we wouldn't have been invited. And when we access that, when we truly go in and allow our soul to lead, I have tons of folks, because right after the 1st of January, I started the program called Source Light School, where I teach people how to connect to your soul, and then all the fringe benefits of knowing all your 12 dimensions. And this isn't your electromagnetic field around your body. It interpenetrates that, but it's bigger. It is out beyond you. And out there, there are all those tools, tools that will help us navigate the future that's before us. So I want to share with you now a way that you can get there. And we'll start with a little story, and then I'll go right in to a guided meditation, and we'll lead you to where I go, to where I went. But I will tell you that the process that we've developed, like really the whole class worked with me. It's still growing and developing. But we call it the Source Light Daily Protocol, where we go in and we connect with our soul every day. The benefits of connecting there are astronomical. People say they're not afraid anymore. Symptoms leave their body. Suddenly they have the energy to do things and get things done that they've wanted to do for years. They're able to make wiser choices with their life. All of those things can happen. And so I'm just going to give us a little taste of that. So let me share my screen here and pull up the slides. Okay. And we'll go here and here. All right. Here we go. So we entitled this, of course, Doorway to the Divine, Reconnecting with Your Soul. So the first thing I want to share with you is that the only way to truly access, and when I say access, it doesn't mean just go in and say hi. It means be able to work with the tools at our disposal in a functional way, is to let our soul drive the car. I've come to understand that if we had access to all of that, especially if we didn't know what we were doing, you all know what we do. I mean, it's like, given that much power, we'd probably misappropriate it. It probably would be, we'd misbehave. And so we've been given this much, enough to keep us alive on the planet. And if we choose to wake up, we can get more. But I learned this from Elizabeth Wood, so I want to give her credit, because when I heard this, all the story that I've just told you made so much more sense. So I want to take you back. Did you know that the original cell, actually the two cells that came together, but the one that was the first one on the scene, when you arrived here on the planet, and by you, I mean your soul, when your soul arrived here on the planet, it's still alive. It's still in there. And the reason we know this is because the first thing that formed after your soul hit the dirt was your heart. And the heart is one of the few organs in the body there that the cells don't regenerate. You know, you can get a new liver, you can get a new kidneys. The heart grows with you, but those cells are the same ones. So because of that, that is the place where life begins. And that seed of life, that God source, that spark of the divine, is still happily alive and well inside of you. And most of the physical cells that were there on the scene when you came in, they're still there. And truly, 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 you know, our cells have just as much life in them as and consciousness as we, as we do as a being. So those cells, they love you. You, the soul, you. They adore you. They invited you, and they couldn't wait to spend time with you. So, unbeknownst to us, because of all the distractions, because of all the chaos, there has been a love fest going on inside of you. And it still is right now. And if you go in there, you can feel it. So we're not going to go there just yet, but I want to just get everybody ready. So everybody just kind of close your eyes for just a minute. Put your hand on your heart if that helps you. And imagine that you can get very tiny and drop your conscious awareness down into the center of your soul. And with your intent, you're just going to go to that origination point. And if you will look in your mind's eye, you can see what we affectionately call the fifth chamber. And many people scientifically have found this place. There is a place inside your heart where there is nothing but light. It's like a room filled with light. So as you go down in there, just ask. Ask to feel your soul. Ask to feel what it feels like, the love fest that's happening between yourselves and between that light that you brought in, that divine source that you brought with you. So before we go in deeply, I'm going to share a little short story with you just to set the energy. Then we'll go in a little deeper. So once upon a time, you lived in light. You were light. And that light was full of what we experience here as love. It was all you knew. And as you live there in that light, surrounded by it, you became enamored, enchanted, if you will, with going to another place, a place where you could share, where you could shine your light, where your light, your specific light, could be seen and enjoyed. Because everyone knows that if you just stay surrounded by light, you can't really see much. and your soul gets bored. So you decided to visit Earth. You dreamed of this place for a really long time. You started as a baby angel, dreaming of going. You knew you had to be invited, so you waited patiently. And you were so excited when you found out that you were going to get to go. There was a lot to do to prepare, and it took even longer to get ready than you thought it would. And so then one day, your big soul, your big angel, came to have a chat. And she said, it's been a while since you planned to go to Earth. And then you had to prepare, and that took even more time, and things down there, well, they've changed a little bit. There's more people, there's more stuff everywhere. There's just more there. But that also means more learning, more growth, more challenges, more opportunities to love. So do you still want to go? Well, of course you said yes. But she said, I want to be very clear. This is what you think you're going to find. This is what you're expecting to find. But you may find this or this. So the question remains, do you still want to go? Well, obviously, you know the answer to that question. And go you did, you and thousands of others like you. And you brought your shiny little self down here to shine. You found the perfect spot, exactly right for all you had planned. And you landed in the middle of this beautiful garden. A very loving gardener caught you, and she held you and prayed over you and blessed you and very lovingly planted you in the soft soil so you could grow. This was a strange and wondrous place you found yourself in. It felt so different to be confined in a tiny little space. You were so used to expanding your light and shining so bright. But you loved the beauty and diversity of this amazing place, and you began to let your light expand and grow inside your body. And grow it did, expanding from your seed self, your light. The literal essence of who you are seemed to expand into all the cells of this new body and make you bigger. And very soon you started to acquire a big body. And while all this was happening, you had no idea what you wanted to grow into, but you knew you wanted to shine. You knew you wanted to grow. You wanted to radiate your light. And very soon it came time for you to move out of this safe, protected, and enchanted place out into the real world. But just like that angel warned you, that world was way more intense than you were expecting. And it was so overwhelming, you forgot all about the training, the safeguards that were put in place for you. You know, one of the promises that you were given was support, that there would be guidance and helpers to support you. You really did come designed to root yourself to the earth like a seed. And you really do have a cord that looks similar to this, that connects you to the divine home. You have a direct line to both. And it really looks more like this, but it was designed to be your own personal home around your body, your personal connection to where you came from. It was supposed to help you remember who you really are and what you came here to bring. And there were ways that you could connect to it, and it would help you feel safe and protected, so you would never be afraid. And as you grew, the plan for you was to be able to stay rooted to the earth and connected to your home. Unfortunately, that's not what happened, not for many people at all. And so many of us feel like our protective home looks something like this. And for some of us, it might. And most of us don't even know we have one. You certainly didn't get taught or coached in how to use it or take care of it. So most of us have no idea where to find first or second dimension. We landed in third, and that's what we focus on. That's all we know until now. Now that you know this exists, and you know what else? You can repair it. This is your own personal link to source. You can restore it to its original glory. You can rebuild it. You can restore your link to source. So it's time to have a chat with the part of yourself that knows how. So that is what we're going to do. The big us is going to connect to that tiny little seed inside of us, which is our soul. And we're going to begin there, because there, this part of us knows. It has had no influence from the outside like the rest of us has. This part is our wisdom. This part can take us where we need to be, where we need to go. So I'm going to have you all just settle back. And once again, close your eyes, get very comfortable. And take a few cleansing breaths. You may want to put your hand on your heart again. And I'm going to invite all of you to just drop in. So let your consciousness drop. Just imagine it like a drop of light, liquid light. And it drops down out of your head, because that's where we all are. And feel that conscious awareness drop right down into the center of your heart space. Deep in there, deep in the center. That beautiful light shines. See if you can find it. See if you can see it in your mind's eye. And begin to feel it. When you let your awareness drop in here, you can begin to feel the love that all of your cells have for you. Not for your body, not for how you show up in the world, but for you. The essence, the real essence of who you are. The true you. The part that you don't show anybody else because you're afraid. Allow yourself to feel that warm embrace. Imagine their exuberance, their excitement when they got to catch you on that beautiful day that you showed up here. Feel the love that your cells have for you. as a soul. And then go into that light and into that love that you are. Let yourself remember that time when you looked down from wherever you were perched and saw this beautiful planet and said, there, I want to go right there. I love her so much. Let yourself just feel that love for yourself, the love you came to bring for others. And begin to just send energy to that. Let it begin to grow. Imagine that you open the windows on that light room and that light begins to expand and it fills your chest and it activates what some call the golden spiral, but that golden beam of light that runs up and down through your physical body. And that source light, that light of your soul, shines and it goes all the way up, as far up as you can imagine, and all the way down into the core of the earth. And then that light begins to expand around you. It fills your body. And then it expands out beyond your body. It fills your electromagnetic field and expands out beyond it. And it becomes a beautiful net of scintillating light that surrounds you all the time. And your little soul inside now, tag base with it because he is so happy that you finally made her acquaintance, made his acquaintance. They are ready to get to know you better and share with you the gifts they have for you. So just take a breath, let yourself begin to feel that and become consciously aware. So roll your shoulders, move your fingers and toes, and then open your eyes. The truth is, you can go to your soul anytime. And when you do, magic happens. Imagine what can happen when all of our souls here on the planet get to shine. We will shift the world in a heartbeat. And that's exactly what we came here to do. So Kathleen, my friend, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Oh, Kathy, that was just a love fest.
Right? I get high on this stuff. I geek out on it all the time.
And just the way that you brought in that tangible feeling that you could touch of the child waiting for the present under the tree. And that's just, I felt that joy and anticipation for this whole presentation.
She's
And
working
just,
on you.
and the invitation that we were invited here, these frequency beings that were invited and we wanted to come. So it's just so beautiful. And I see there's such an outpouring of love for you in the chat, Kathy. And so, everybody, if you loved that experience with Kathy, it is with great excitement that I'd just love to share my screen with you and introduce how you could go on an even greater joyful love fest journey with Kathy here at the Global School for Quantum Evolution. We are just exhilarated, actually, after that journey to introduce living an enchanted life, awakening the gifts of your 12-dimensional light bodies from April 24th to May 15th, 2025. So, Kathy, I'll just pass it over to you. Can you please just
Sure.
tell us a little bit about, well, we know that you've told us a little bit about the inspiration, but yeah, why now? Like, why this
Right.
moment in time?
Well, actually, it's right there on the screen. We have entered, and like I said, we all plan to be here right now. We got a front row seat. And even if we may be a little bit trepidatious about the changes that are happening, our souls are doing the Snoopy dance right now, because we landed at exactly the right time. And our planet is now in a different place in literal space. So we've been in the dark, and I liken this, when I was little, I used to go, this was horrible, but I would turn over rocks to find the roly-poly bugs with my brother. When you do that, all the beings under those rocks scatter because of the light. Our planet has been in the dark for a while. When we talk about ascension, we were heading toward this galactic light. We all knew it. So it is flooding our cells right now. And if we've done, praise be to the powers that be, all of those ceremonies that I was doing, that I thought I was doing it as a giveaway for the planet and for the people that I served, cleared my body so that when that light hit the planet, I got a beam, I got a direct hit, and my body knew how to digest it and use it. If you, and all of us have trauma. If you still suffer with a lot of trauma, or if you haven't cleared some of that, then when it hits you, I mean, everyone talks about ascension flu, that's real. But we can vary, our soul is that same kind of light. So if we open to our soul's light a little at a time, we can begin to attune our bodies. We can rebuild that bigger light energy field, not our electromagnetic field, that big one. We can rebuild it around us, and we can begin to access more tools. So the first tool that we'll learn about and that we'll get to access is what I talked about at the beginning, endless prana. So if you want to scroll down a little bit, I'll dive into what the different sessions are going to be about. The first one, I will talk more in a lot more detail about living with cosmic light and the mechanics of that and why this is important. Where are our first and second dimensions, and why don't we know about them? There is a definite why. The truth coming to light, all of that's going to happen in there. Why are they so important? Obviously, you can see if we had been given the rule book and the manual, the operating manual, when all this light hit the planet. So, for instance, I've been feeling like I've been playing catch up for the past year and a half. We should have had this information sooner. We could have been more prepared. And yet, my guidance always says, you probably wouldn't have used it if you got it then anyway. So, it's perfect timing. But why clearing trauma is so important and how to do that. And then we're going to understand and awaken your first dimension. And we're going to go in deeper than we went today. And you'll get the first tool, the protocol, which is really it's the heart and soul of Source Light School. Source Light School is a year-long program where I teach this long and in depth. This is, all of us need this information now. And so this is the mini version to catch up for any of you out there that feel called to do this. But what it's going to do for you is help you manage symptoms, help you begin to understand yourself at a level you had no idea of, and access the tools of each dimension. So because each of those is, every time you access one, you pull in more light. We can't do that in 4 weeks, but I am going to take you through all the way up to fourth, and then explain to you what comes in the next 8, because there's lots of gifts that you already use. Some of you already use them. So then activating our first dimensional and second dimensional selves in module 2. So this is where the rubber's really going to hit the road, and I'll be saying, you've been reading your protocol every day, but you'll really begin to start functioning, and you'll acquire the gift of the second dimension, which is, and for me and how I see this act out in other people's lives that do this with me, especially folks that are empathic. You saw those little pictures of what some of that protective mesh may look like. So in esoteric terms, in a lot of different traditions, that big field is known as Indra's net, or the light field, or the all. And it's a field that's out there that you can connect with, that any kind of information you can access. However, if you don't have functional access to your own, then anything else can access you too. And the reason that most folks have such a difficult time with feeling everybody else's stuff is because some of those big, what some would call the soul field, in Aramaic, it's called the ruha, the big soul, that big energy field around you, nobody's been keeping house. Nobody's been taking care of it, making sure that it was at the right frequency, making sure that folks, energy that you don't want in there isn't there. If you don't have access to it, all you're working with is your electromagnetic field. And it's, most of the time, that's the part that's going to pick up that information. So it gives you yet another buffer to help you begin to navigate in a world where most people's protective net looks like what we saw on the slides. And that makes people what I call energetically hungry. So they reach out, they glom on because they're starving, because they don't know how to connect to their own soul and their own beam of light. So they go out for it. We've been taught to do that. We can relearn. So in this class, we relearn and we begin to rebuild that light body. And then in module 3, we're just going to keep going. So we're going to really work in that second dimensional field and begin to rebuild our self-esteem. And we're going to learn the gifts of, the gift of the second level is, what's equanimity, which means at this level, everyone's equal. There's only unconditional love there. And we haven't really let ourselves swim in that as beings, probably since we were in the womb. And so, that conditional love has been all we've known. And in here, we get to experience that all the time and rebuild those parts of ourselves that have been broken. And not only that, we'll learn some things in here about third dimension, it's like once you have first and second down, third dimension becomes so much easier. And really, first and second can help you deal with all the chaos in third. So then by the fourth session, we're going to be able to, I'm going to literally take you into the fourth dimension and let you play around in there a little bit in that guided meditation. It's really, I'll just give you a little hint. It's like a big garage sale in there with tons of everything. But you'll get a handle. This is the tool. This is one of the favorite tools of everybody. The tool for this one is your imagination, but it's how you manage all the rest. And it is the one, it's where we manifest, it's how we create. And if we can get this one down and this one clear and cleaned out, then all the rest are a piece of cake. And then, we'll learn all the gifts of the fit. There'll be a synopsis of all of them. And, our sessions together will end so that those of you because we do a layer a month. So by the end of May, we will be done with the fifth. If anybody wanted to continue studies in Source Light School, you could. So it's not like you don't get all 12. You learn about all 12. I'm doing this for your protection because all of us want it all right now. And like I said, at the beginning, when I started this, we knew nothing. We were going in blind. So there were many people that signed up for the class, but had not done the level of trauma clearing that I had done and had flu-like symptoms. They got through it, and you will get through it. But I want to just introduce you and then give you some things to play with. And then if you want more, you can come back for more. So that's where we're going.
And that feels like what's greatly needed actually is for people to do the groundwork so that feel safe and don't have to go through those ascension flu symptoms on top of
Right.
probably what else other symptoms that everybody is
Mm-hmm.
feeling as well.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of what everyone else is feeling is probably that, which is why doctors have a difficult time giving us a cure.
Mm.
The cure is inside.
Well, we have just, as you can see from this beautiful page, everyone, there's just so much medicine on here already. It's a transmission. So we're going to put the link in the chat so you can go and look at it at your own pace. We have, just before I get to the sacred investment, I'll just tell you about the program details. So if you could make this class today, it'd be brilliant because we commence on April 24th at the same time as we are today. Our classes will be 90 minutes long, and if you can't join live, there will be a recording within 24 to 48 hours. But let's get down to what the sacred investment for this beautiful, incredible course is. It's valued at 777 US dollars, and that's all of like 30 years of your spiritual experience and lived and professionalism and all of that, Kathy. I mean, it's probably worth priceless actually, as all of our soul gifts are. But if you're familiar with the Global School for Quantum Evolution, or if you're brand new here, our we our philosophy is Sacred Wealth Revolution. And so all of the courses and all of the wonderful teachers that we call in and that say yes to joining us offer their courses for donation based. And so what this means is you just put your hand on your heart and you place the offering of what your soul says yes to. And we want this course to be as available to everybody in the world, regardless of financial restrictions. We want to take those restrictions away because it's important that we're all in this together. So do you want to just speak a little bit about that, Kathy?
Um, Absolutely. It's as I said earlier, um, everybody needs this. I have had the feeling from the beginning, from that moment that that happened, that event happened to me, that this was in preparation for what was to come and that I needed to get this out there to as many people as I could right now. It's like an emergency. So, so that was, 3 months and here it is. And it's been in, we've done the trial run. We did year 1 last year. So we know it works. And I want this in the hands of everyone. So absolutely, whatever you can pay is just fine with me. I would much rather, this isn't about income for me. This is about saving this planet and saving humanity and having us on board to do with all the tools that we need to do the job we came here to do.
And you've shown us that love fest, that it potential today, Kathy. And imagine if all of us are walking around just being in this love fest, spreading this love fest. This is how we change the world, and this is why our school was created by Jocelyn Starfeather, and then Army and I and Kayla come in to really help build it. Is because of this, and
Yeah.
it's just such an honor for us to get to co-create with you, all of our wonderful teachers, and all of the incredible participants that come in and then go and spread their love and
Yeah.
gifts with the world.
Mhm.
So does now it's time for questions. If anybody has, I'm going to stop the share here
Mhm.
and we're going to have a look and see if there's any questions in the chat. Um, oh, the link didn't work. Army will just post it again and we'll see if it goes in. Um, Helen shares, I saw different colors, mainly green. However, I couldn't feel a love fest. I couldn't
Mhm.
feel love. What do I do to be able to feel love? Breathe.
Um, Sometimes it takes a little practice. And, obviously, my best recommendation would be go back and watch the recording again, listen again, try again, um, come to the class and get more information. The more you spend time here, and um, in class 1, you get the protocol where it's like you know what to say. You can. It's simple. You can. I designed this for people that are busy, that have lives, that have to do the thing. I'm one of those. So um, it's as simple as reading this every day and then giving yourself some time to meditate. And there are days sometimes when I can't get there. I mean, it's in the beginning when all of that big light came in, I was able to. But sometimes our hearts are covered over with old stuff. And we're going to talk about that in the first class and how to clear some of that. And then, you know, the test of a good spiritual practice is how much resistance you have to it. And if you don't feel it, a lot of times we'll just put it down. Don't put it down. Go back. Keep doing it. So if you don't feel called to the class, go back and do the meditation with the recording again and try.
I see Pamela raised your hand, but are you able to put the question in the chat for us? That would be amazing. Um, Jose says love can only be felt once we stop thinking about it.
Ah, I love that. I love that, Jose. That is, and that's actually true. All of this was visited on me and I wasn't looking. And so sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to take someone there, because a lot of times love just shows up. But I promise you, if you keep working at it, it will come. I'll go more into this in the first class, but there were a lot of things that I was doing in the background that, unbeknownst to me, were inviting that in. And I didn't realize it until now. Hindsight's 2020. But um, I do know from just all of my students that when, practice, keep doing it. Try it every day for 7 days, and something will move.
Beautiful. We have from Sabina, how can we clear the trauma of our ancestors and family?
Oh, people have written books on that. And I offer a lot of tools in class 1, and I'll mention them every single class we do. Um, there's lots of different ways to go in and do that. I don't know that I could give you just one. One of the we do there is a little section in the class called trauma healing on the fly, because I do have those things that you keep in your hip pocket that when you come up in fate, face to face with something and you have to do it and keep going. So the Ho'oponopono prayer is a really good way to do that, and to do it quickly, or to take your time and go in there with the intent of clearing ancestral trauma. Um, Once again, I'm going to promote a lot of the people that I worked with, and Cheryl Prince was one of them. It's like there are tons of healers out there that can help you with this if you can't do it on your own. But I will give you a lot of tools in the class that will help you with that.
I love, Kathy, how you're creating this container, but really guiding the power back into
Mm-hmm.
our own hands. That's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just
Really
so
and truly,
empowering.
this is my enlightenment, the truth that has been revealed to me. But most traditions and teachers, that was what was always taught. I mean, all of them. And a lot of times, man, in his quest for power, has twisted those teachings to serve a certain end. But in truth, all of the spiritual teachers that came to the planet taught us to go inside. And this is where our wisdom is always, not out there. And we can, if it resonates in here, listen to it.
Uh, we have a question. Someone was listening to Martin Overseer here in Holland. Do you know him?
Mm-hmm. No, I don't.
Ali says, to me, the shadows playing out in society are a mirror of our buried shadow work within. So we have
Mm-hmm.
to do the work and not spiritually bypass to only be in the love and light.
Sure, absolutely. When you're truly in your soul, it might not be a love fest. When you're truly in your soul, every speck of trauma that you have, it's like a light is shining in, and it's going to hit that. And it may not hit it all at once, but it will. And so, and it can show up in various and sundry ways, and it can show up in everywhere. So it isn't optional to do your trauma clearing if you're going to do soul work. You absolutely have to, and your soul will demand it. You won't be able to keep going in at the level you want to unless you clear whatever's left. I have, and like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and I have had to go back and clear tons of things that I thought I was done with years ago that have shown up again. And, not just for me, but for other people I was connected to 20 years ago will end up in my life again so that I can clear the rest. So your soul is going to guide that. You're not going to bypass if you go deeply into your soul. You won't be able to. But thank you for that. That is very, very true.
And Ali adds to that, I only speak from 40 years trauma work and trusting my soul to lead me through.
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
added. Tina says there were other children and others around in my heart. Is that normal? Not alone.
um, I have never had anyone say that to me, so I don't know that I could say it was normal, but it doesn't surprise me. I'm not exactly sure what that is, and I would absolutely love to explore that more. I wouldn't be alarmed by it, Tina, not at all.
Well, we don't seem to have any more questions. Um, we just, yeah, just so an outpouring of love. Like Andrea says, Kathy, thank you so much for your beautiful, authentic experience of soul connection and love. Zoe, thank you for all you've shared, Kathy, with love and appreciation. And yeah, Jose, love can only be felt once we stop thinking about it. Said that again. Lu
I saw it.
Lunda
Mhm.
says, how can we encourage this aspect to come forth if it's shy?
Hmm. Once again, just exactly what I said before. Go in gently and just keep coaxing it, just like you would if it was. I mean, obviously, I I would be shy at this point. Um, that world out there looks scary right now. So you do the same thing with your soul that you would do with a child. You're gentle, you're calm, you go in, but you make sure that your soul knows you're available, that your soul knows that you're both playing on the same team and you're willing to let it be in charge. And that's really key. A lot of us will go down for the love fest, but we still want to make all our decisions from up here. That's not going to fly for not really for any of us for very long. We're just going to get into more messes. That's what got us here. So if it's shy, just coax it out and be committed to letting it lead. And it may feel a little bit safer then.
Well, thank you
You
so
know,
much. Oh, no,
I'm
you
going
go,
to
Kathy.
address what Tina said. She said they were beautiful and loving. I have a hunch that it's either, bits and pieces of your soul that, maybe you brought several different flavors and not just one. Or it could be, you know, soul, like past life experiences or simultaneous life experiences that are happening all at once and they're all in there. I don't know. Those are just thoughts, but I don't think that it didn't strike me as anything to be afraid of, Tina. I think it was actually really cool. So,
Oh, just before we close off from Ali, from
mhm,
Nancy Ann, gentle has a special kind of strength with exquisite timing.
mhm, yeah.
This container that you've created, Kathy, just feels like the greatest big warm loving hug.
Mhm,
That's exactly what it feels like. And Ali, I wasn't looking for another course. My ego says you don't need it. My soul higher self says, but you have a lot to share, and perhaps I should share my light more. Thank you for the offering and soul nudge.
I love that. Yeah,
Beautiful.
same. I know the feeling, Allie. Totally know the feeling. But it's a way fun place. It's a very fun place to be.
So everybody, you have the link. The replay will be up within the next 24 hours. If you know any other beautiful souls who would just light up to receive the journey that you experienced today, please share it far and wide. Registration will be open for a week from today. And yeah, just we've so loved up to be co-creating with you, Kathy, and everyone who joins us on this journey. So thank you so much for today.
You. This was way fun.
Mm.
So good to see all of you. Bye-bye.